Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we're going to be talking about a potential matchup between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, UFC 274, we just saw Michael Chandler go out there and starch Tony Ferguson. Right, the boogeyman of the division, El Kukui. Michael Chandler goes out there, front kicks him right in the face, drops him, ends it. Just has people's jaws on the floor. Got the famous viral video from The Rock. Just puts another stamp on his career. Win, lose, or draw, man, Michael Chandler delivers. He is a dude who comes out, puts it all on the line, makes sure he leaves it all in the octagon, is constantly entertaining, is constantly wanting the big fights, shows up prepared. Like, that's why the UFC got him. That's why the UFC backed up the dump truck full of money, dropped it off in his driveway, and signed him when they had the opportunity. He continues to deliver. So he goes out after UFC 274, he gets the platform and cuts a promo like this dude's in the WWE, right? Like he's a professional wrestler. Like he's out there, like, you know, doing exactly what if he had Chael Sonnen as an advisor, or if he had one of these managers from the WWE. So he just goes out and he cuts this beautiful promo calling for a rematch. You know, we're about to see a fight between Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje. He's fought both men in the past and lost. Calls for a rematch for whoever wins the title. Beautiful, beautiful setup, beautiful opportunity off of a performance like that from Tony Ferguson. You know, then he says, hey, somebody makes a bad decision at the UFC, gives that shot to somebody else. I want the fight with Conor McGregor. Everybody else wants to fight with Conor McGregor. They're all looking for the red panty night.
Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
When Conor McGregor shows up, he brings a huge paycheck with him. He brings a huge amount of cameras and publicity and eyes and everything. Who wouldn't want that fight? Anybody who's anywhere around that weight division wants that fight with Conor McGregor, so no surprise there. Then he adds a little cherry on top to make it a little bit more enticing for Conor. And he says, look, man, I want you at your best. I don't want you cutting weight to get down to 155. Even though, to be perfectly honest, I think that's what Conor's best weight is. But he says, I don't want you cutting weight to get down to 155. You look pretty big. I see you on Instagram. You're pumping weights. You're in this rehab, man. You're looking all beastie. I want you at 170. Let's do it there, where both of us are fully ready to go. Let's make this happen. So good for him, man. Great opportunity to make this call out. And then I started to think, what exactly would happen? I mean, number one, we know that fight would be through the roof. Dana White even mentioned it in the post-fight press conference. The fight would be huge. It would be massive. Who wouldn't want to see it? And you're right. Who wouldn't want to see it? Conor McGregor's got a bunch of fans. Michael Chandler's got a bunch of fans. Both these guys got exciting styles. Of course we'd want to see it. They're both strikers, right? So for most people, myself included, I kind of appreciate that. As much as I love grappling, as much as I love jiu-jitsu, as much as I love, you know, the wrestling and hearing about it that a man like DC brings to the table. My background comes from boxing, and I'll always have a special place in my heart for striking. So when guys show up and they want to throw their hands, I like it. And that's what both of them like to do, right? They both like to come out there. They both like to strike. That's number one. Number two, it's easy to look at Conor McGregor's recent past performances and say, past his prime, say he's washed up, say he's not going to win the belt anymore, say he can no longer compete at the highest level. Easy to say something like that. However, I'm not willing to say it just yet. Is he performing at the level that we saw when he made that historic run and ended up scorching Eddie Alvarez at 155 to be the champ? No, of course not. Of course he's not performing at that level anymore. But could he get back to it? I'll tell you what, it's going to be super difficult. It's super difficult to reach that mountain peak, come down off the top because you reached the mountain peak, because of all the success you've seen, because of all the things you've done. You just lose that focus. Come down off that mountain peak to then get back up there. And I get that he has got the will and the mindset and the team around him and the resources and everything to be able to make it happen. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen. Yes, it can. Doesn't mean that it will. That remains to be seen. That's why we all watch. So that's intriguing. But when you think about their fight styles, even Conor McGregor not performing at 100%, but you just think about it. Conor McGregor has got a great left hand, great timing on it, good distance and reach, understands footwork. Michael Chandler gets hit, right? We've seen him get hit against every single person that he's gone in there against, up to and including getting stopped sometimes. We saw him in this very last fight with Tony Ferguson. Yeah, he got the super impressive victory in that second round. Kicked dude in the face, tore his head off, flatlined him, right, face planted on the canvas. But let's go back and watch the first round again. Let's look at that a little bit. Let's look at those beautiful little left-hand counter shots that Tony Ferguson was catching Michael Chandler with. Chandler was getting caught with some stuff, man. He was getting lit up by a man into, well, maybe not lit up. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration. But he was not able to do everything that he wanted to do, and he was getting hit with far more shots than he wanted. I guarantee you he thought that that was going to be easier going in there against a man like Tony Ferguson, who's looked to put together the performances that he had most recently, who's been out of the octagon for the amount of time that he had, who'd been doing the things that he had. That should be concerning. Michael Chandler is not a defensive wizard. You know, he's not a defensive guru. Does he have incredible wrestling power? Yeah, by the way, I mean, dude, the way that he just, you know, exploded and took Tony Ferguson off of his feet when he went for that takedown, man, that was impressive. Could he do that to Conor McGregor? I mean, probably. Looked like he could do that to anybody. Up to maybe at 170 pounds, who knows? You know, and he's got a big right hand. Conor McGregor gets caught with shots. So I think it would be huge for the fans. It would be huge for the sport. It would be really entertaining. It's a fight that we want to see. Man, I'm all for it. Is it actually going to happen? Who knows? Right? Who knows? Are there bigger fights that Conor McGregor take? Is he going to take that Nate Diaz fight? Like, who knows what he's going to do when he comes back? He's got nothing but opportunities in front of him. You know, he said before and hinted at the fact that he wants to fight for the belt. That's the one thing that I don't want to see happen. I think it'd be ridiculous. It doesn't matter where he fights. If he fights it, I don't care if he cuts down to 45, 35, 55, 170, 185. It doesn't matter. He doesn't, in my opinion, deserve to come back at this point in time and immediately step in there and fight for a belt. We know that Dana White said that he can do what he wants. People are ridiculous if they think he's not deserving and everything. I mean, look, man, he's going to make what he wants based off of business decisions. His responsibility isn't necessarily to the integrity of the sport. It's not to individual fighters in the sense of what they deserve. It's not to what the most hardcore of fans want or what historically would be most correct. He's balancing a whole bunch of things, but at the end of the day, he's a promoter. He wants to promote the sport and he wants to make money. So if he thinks that the best thing is going to be to put Conor McGregor in there and he's just going to deal with the backlash for it, you know, then that's what he's going to do. Personally, I think it'd be sad. There's more deserving guys. Don't want to see the division held up. I want to see those guys get those shots. I want to see the best fights be made. But look at the champ, Charles Oliveira. Do you think he's going to take a fight against Conor McGregor? Of course he is. He was talking about him when he won the last fight. Again, the red panty night and the amount of money it brings and the notoriety, because I'm sure Charles Oliveira feels like he would just tear through Conor McGregor at this point and walk away with an easy victory. So now he's got that name on his resume as a victory. So a whole lot of things go into it. Nevertheless, not a fight I want to see happen. But Michael Chandler, on the other hand, now that would be a good one. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is a fight that actually has any possibility of happening? If it does, would you be looking forward to it? Who do you think would walk away with a victory? If it isn't against Michael Chandler, who's Conor McGregor going to fight when he comes back? Let me know what you guys think.